Well, there was a time when I don't think we ever thought we would hear "Reason to Be" played. So,
Ooh, that's fun.
you
That's
know,
that's that's one of my favorite Night Ranger tunes. That one is really inspired.
I mean, I figured with the law of averages, the more I'm around you guys, the more comfortable you're going to get, and the more you're going to slip up, and I'm going to get blackmail. And and it's going to be like,
There's Josh's end game.
you know, like, hey, don't make me call her. I'll, either you start hitting the fucking chords, the restless kind, or I start typing in some phone numbers. Next thing you know, we're getting a full fucking Man in Motion record played. Let's see here. Dave the Dolman, a longtime listener and a longtime caller. He wants to know, what are your top 3 jazz records?
Ooh, wow, top 3 off the top of my head. Do compilations count?
Sure.
I'll stick to traditional albums. John Coltrane, Giant Steps. Chick Corea, Now He Sings, Now He Sobs, and Keith Jarrett, My Song. Go with. Oh, but it's like 5 seconds later, I'll be like, no, I've got a better list. But that's the list I came up with in the moment.
I thought you would do what's the big Chick Corea record? The blue album cover.
Oh, Light as a Feather. You're right. Light as a Feather. Why did I say Now He Sings, Now He Sobs? Yeah, that's the one right there. Oh, you know what a dark horse one is? That most jazz pianists don't even know about this dude.
Loverboy.
Dave Frischberg, and he was like, I think because he was LA, but he's from New York, and anyway. I can't get enough of listening to him play, and like I'll periodically just put on his one of his albums and immediately just I think if I was Desert Island, I would have to have some Dave Frischberg with me too.
There you go, Nadalman. I want you to purchase all 3 of those records, and I want photos of them, and I want to.
Or you can stream them.
No, we don't stream jazz. We purchase the nice warm vinyl. Emily Medler wants to know, what's your favorite song to do keyboards on? I guess we'll stick in the Night Ranger world there. What songs do you like to tickle the ivories? I think you said Sister Christian earlier. Call My Name. Let's just throw out one more. What's one that you if your buddies come to see you, you're like, hey, don't go piss during this.
Oh, let's see. I'm like looking through my patches here. Rumors in the Air is always fun. That's a good, because I get to do the I get to do that part.
Now see Lisa.
That's the Metroid riff.
Lisa, Robyn, isn't that cool?
Very.
We need to hear that more when we go.
Right on.
Like I said, Robyn or Lisa, eventually we'll get them to do what we want. I think the first thing I gotta do is I gotta magically start getting brown liquor to appear backstage.
If anybody can do it, I trust it's you.
I'll walk in like Barney. Hey guys.
And then Jack will never talk to you again, and it'll be my fault.
It'll be all right. Well, I just gotta get that blackmail. Like, talk to me, Jack.
I love Josh's voice for himself.
But can Jack really truly stop talking? Chris Nichols, were you a fan of the band before taking over for Fitz? I think we kind of talked about that, where you had you maybe knew their hits, but you didn't know, their catalog at all, correct?
Yeah, and it was only because of my mom's, like yeah. There's no way she would have been letting me like listen to Midnight Madness back in the day. But so 1987, we got cable TV, and one of my favorite movies that year was Secret of My Success. I thought that movie was great when I was that age, and and then when the Damn Yankees came out, I bought that first album and listened to that first Damn Yankees album a ton. So when I joined the band, that's the music that I was more the really the fan of, was like high enough, coming of age.
Yeah, so you're the catalyst, the reason why Night Ranger still does coming of age and high enough. So there's where you direct your messages to. But yeah, like maybe
I have one other quick thought along those lines. We played I guess a controversial, we not that, I don't know, we, depending on what side of the aisle you're on, but we played on Fox and Friends on the Fox News Network. This was
here in Cleveland, right?
What's that?
Wasn't it here in Cleveland? Fox 8? You were promoting one of the Danny Rapepi shows, right? Like on the
No, now was this Night Ranger or Jack doing? Because Jack played the Republican convention.
That might be what you're thinking of, the Republican. Okay, yeah. So, the Fox and Friends, they were. I don't know if they still do it, but that summer they were doing a thing where they would like have these bands outdoors, like at their place, which is like Midtown Manhattan in New York City. So so we're there super early in the morning, and during the commercial breaks, it'd be like, okay, now we're gonna start this next song. So it's so we start playing Secret of My Success, and I start looking up and around me, and if you've ever seen the opening credits to that movie, the opening credits is that song playing and Michael J. Fox looking around in Midtown Manhattan and seeing all the tall buildings. So all of a sudden I had like one of those fun little full circle moments, like imagine, 1987, my teenage self sitting there watching this movie, and, imagine telling yourself like, okay, yeah, someday you're going to be in, out looking at these buildings for real, blasting this song with this band. Yeah, that was a cool moment.
Just think, if your mom hadn't been so strict, you could have been playing for like Iron Maiden or something, looking up at the devil, thing, and going, I can't believe I'm here. We're all gonna laugh at you. Amy Pierre Johnson.
Is that an Adam Sandler?
Well, I think isn't it from Carrie?
I
think it's from the movie Carrie, but yes, Adam Sandler. They're all gonna laugh at you.
I think you're right on Carrie.
Yeah. At a medium pace. That's the song you need to cover.
Somehow I don't see myself doing that one, but I appreciate the artistry that went into it.
You know what? It's weird. Like if I'm cleaning around the house, no one knows, what I'm doing, but I'll be like, mop, 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 all day long. Mop, mop, mop. Why I sing this song? Gonna mop the floor, gonna make it shine, gonna make it like turpentine. Hey, the Walker. Boom, boom, boom. Hey. Let go of my sideburns.
Oh, my Garage Mahal days. I'd be like playing that CD in the van like every day.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Like, come on, you guys, this is funny. We got to hear it again.
Hey, man, let me in there. I got to pee really bad. World's longest pee. If you don't know what we're talking about the early Adam Sandler CD. They're all going to laugh at you. Really, it's one of the greatest things ever.
If you appreciate sophomore humor, yeah.
What was the one? Kathleen Turner's got really big. Remember
the excited Southerner?
I don't know what it was.
Applies for college or something. One of those.
Yeah.
Or no, the buffoon. That's
the
what
buffoon. Yeah.
Buffoon.
Oh God, I haven't thought about that forever. And I like the second record with the goat.
Oh yeah, the goat. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the goat.
I
Yeah.
remember that one. I can't remember how it went, but I remember hearing that.
That's
Oh,
good
so
shit.
classic.
Amy Pierre Johnson of Minnesota wants to know, what is the one item on the backstage rider that you'd be very upset if it was forgotten? And what's I don't know what fucking word this is. What's a pescatarian? PESCATARIAN. Maybe it's maybe it's an inside joke with you two from Rock the Heart. But what's the one item on the backstage rider to be upset if it was forgotten? The clear liquor?
Yeah, really. And it's forgotten every night. Yeah, if there was like absolutely no booze backstage, that would be kind of a bummer.
The ginger root for your vocals.
Oh, that's yeah.
That's for you, man.
Other people have to worry about their vocals. I get to just go up and assume my microphone isn't even being heard, and just let whatever comes out of that throat come out. Yeah. It's a luxury.
Robyn's going to take a break here real quick. Yeah, I mean, I remember one time they didn't have the ginger root there, and God, Eric was pissed, throwing shit. You know, I gotta warm up these pipes. Carl Eichelman, please tell us about the experience of playing live with the youth orchestra. Did you like the arrangements, and did you have a favorite song with them?
Yeah, the youth orchestra was wonderful. I've actually got their signed poster up here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, all the kids signed them for us.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it was like right before the show too, when they I was like, okay, we gotta go upstairs just for a minute to meet with the kids, and like we had no idea, you know. It's like, okay, you know, we just follow Ed, you know, before the show. That's what we do. So we go upstairs, and it's like all the kids in the room, and as soon as we walk in, they just like start like screaming and clapping, and it's, you know, the enthusiasm of a bunch of teenagers who, you know you're about to go up on stage with, and you know, it was incredible. That was such a fun moment, and we took some pictures, you know, just us and all the kids, and they gave us all signed posters.
Yeah.
As far as the favorite song, maybe I'm a broken record, but Call My Name. They had a beautiful intro to it. You know, usually I would start it on the piano, but we had the orchestra start it. Chris had their director had composed an intro, and he told me that he was inspired by Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven. So it was the flautist, the first chair flautist in the orchestra played the the melody that I would usually play on piano. Oops, that's volume. So she was playing it on flute, and with the strings, and it yeah, very much like Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven kind of vibes. It seemed really inspired that he came up with that idea for that. It really worked well.
He also wants to know if there was any song you wish that you guys would have included.
Oh, I think Let Him Run might have been cool.
Yeah,
I think Let Him Run might be cool with the real orchestra.
I think I mean, a lot of us all mentioned, you know, Rain Comes Crashing Down.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I think, but yeah, Let Him Run would have been a good one. Maybe even something like Hearts Away.
I can see that.
You know, a different version, you know, just with an, you know, something to make it all brand new and unique. to where you're not really doing it like the record and then adding the orchestra. You're starting the composition as an orchestra piece, and then you guys fit in. But what do I know? Let's see here. David Powell wants to know what the true story behind the song Sister Christian is. We've discussed that a lot in the episodes, basically written for, Kelly wrote it about his sister Christy. And they thought, when he was singing Sister Christy, that they were singing he was saying Christian. And they kind of liked how it sounded. And there you go. Stu Upgrave. He wants to know, are you ever coming back to England, mate? Is that
would
Australia?
love to.
Maybe that's Australia.
Would absolutely love to come back to London, and so much of England that I've just never seen. Would love to spend more time over there.
Imagine.
I was a huge fan of the TV show Doctor Who when I was a kid, like especially like the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker.
Is that the guy with the curly hair?
That back in the day, I don't mess with the new Doctor Who's, but yeah, sometimes I'll still put on one of those old episodes and laugh at the special effects. But yeah, that was my young mind absorbing all that. I absolutely adore being over in the UK. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, if you like I said, if you like, pubs with the Tail and the Peasant and the King's Arms, and nice warm draft beer and food that tastes like leather. Hey,
unless you eat curry. I eat a lot of curry when I'm over there.
Yeah, well, yeah, England, fun place. Speaking of Doctor Who, just getting off a little bit off track. There are like episodes like they don't have copies of that. Like there's like
that were erased, right?
Yeah, that were erased, and like if people can find them, they're worth tons of cash. And
there have been people who have made like animated computer generated with like some of those episodes exist in audio but not visual, and it's
a lot of the movies from like the teens and the 20s are like that. Like probably one a lot of people know, Metropolis, and they've over the years have found cut scenes, but they're not like they're in like bad condition, or they weren't filmed on the best film. So you can buy a version where you're watching 1928 Metropolis, and then like the scenes will be a little bit grainier because they're the found copies. And
interesting.
And they found a lot of these in some in Australia, like some in like Finland or the Netherlands or something like that. But
because the BBC, the British Empire at the time, was still more a thing. Yeah.
And a lot of times they would either reuse them or they would get rid of them because they were flammable. But people didn't want them in their warehouses and stuff like that. Richard Jenkins. If you ever need to know anything about boats, he's your guy. Or I won't say boats, ships. Like in the video Goodbye, there's old footage of like a old passenger ship passing by. He was able to find out what boat what ship that was.
Oh wow.
But anyways, Richard Tugboat Jenkins. The band already covers Ozzy for Brad, Alice for Carrie, Damn Yankees for Jack. If you could add any cover song of your choice to the set list, whether it be something you were involved in within the past or not, what would it be? Would it be a song off the upcoming record, Alien Jackoff?
That's an interesting question. I would say at this point, if we were going to cover anything, I would love to cover a Rubicon song.
Ooh, a little bit of white funk.
I couldn't tell you what song, but I just think at this stage, 40 years into it, the three remaining members all having been in a band, beforehand, that, I don't know. Yeah, I think it would be a cool thing if we had at least one Rubicon song in the repertoire that we could pull out here and there.
I think it'd be cool to hear Jack do a little bit of his funk bass, Larry Graham stuff.
Yeah.
Only if he puts on those glasses.
Oh yeah,
we gotta get those glasses out of storage.
Well, I
How
found that.
much will it take?
Yeah. One thing I found was a rare photo of them playing like a day show, and he's got like softball pants on with like remember like you know how they have the stirrups on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's on stage, playing those. I made when I posted the pic, I'm like, you know, we got, we got to hurry up, man. I got a softball game at 3. But yeah, I mean, his playing was like, Larry Graham, just very funky. And
Yeah.
that's a good, pick there. I wouldn't have expected the Rubicon would probably go over more than what I would have thought. He would have said, some Chick Corea. And I don't know who would do the female singing. Maybe Brad would have to do that female part.
Oh, right. Rather than you're singing on that. Yeah.
But that would be interesting. Let's see here. Kim Christensen. That's a lot of sons. Do you remember taking this picture with me at 80s in the Sand while you were having lunch? The weird thing is taking a picture with me. All right. I want to show you this picture. Do you remember taking this picture with her?
I'm not in that picture.
Yeah, I just saw that. I'm going to venture out on a limb here and say he probably does not, because I read it again. Like, well, maybe
Well, who took the picture?
Well, that's why that's why I was like reading it again. Like maybe she wrote, I read it wrong. Like, do you remember taking the picture? Now
maybe I took that picture.
Yeah,
maybe I was like, oh, I'll snap it.
Yeah, maybe you're like, oh, this is before Fans of Motion. I'm not sure member, Night Ranger. Yeah, let me take the picture here. But the answer, Kim, if he took the photo, he remembers. And he hopes you're doing well. Robert Pena saw you guys last year at the Glass Cactus in Grapevine.
Oh, yeah.
Been a fan since the early 80s in high school. Phenomenal show, I must say.
Thank
you. My question is, will you be coming back to Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas anytime soon? My kids would love to see you. So I know you know the schedule by heart. Is there some Texas dates on
there? Every time I want to know anything, I'm like going to my photo library and okay, what's like the last one that Josh sent me of like those dates? Oh yeah, there it is.
I don't.
It's you know what? I thank you. That glass cactus. That's a fun place to play. It's I'm forgetting now the name of the venue in Fort Worth that we played
Billy
at.
Bob's.
Billy Bob's.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing to me there was like people like completely just like dogging Dallas, saying like Dallas is where the East ends and Fort Worth is where the West begins. I don't know. I guess I never really realized it was like a whole rivalry thing. But so yeah, like Dallas, Fort Worth, love it there though. Absolutely, yeah.
And Robert, I know there's no Texas shows announced, and off my top of my head, I can't remember if there's some. Obviously there's shows that get scheduled, and we got to wait till they're officially announced. But I would just say with Texas being one of the biggest states, you're going to get probably a Night Ranger show somewhere around there.
Yeah,
John,
we can't.
Yeah. John W. Tiny. He says, okay, Eric, pick one, Dave or Sammy.
Oh, for me, Sammy all the way. And not just because I haven't met Dave in person, but because, right, the whole like restriction on my childhood thing meant that the first Van Halen album that I bought was 5150. So to me, like that's the sound of Van Halen, which I know is weird to most people, but yeah, to me that album, and there's so much keyboards on that album too. It's great great
Yeah.
keyboards on that album too.
Well, that
I
and
listened to that quite a bit.
Oh, you ate one too, same way. I always say, like, if I got to throw an album on, it's the Roth era. If I'm listening to songs, it's the Hagar era. There's no true Sammy record, I think, is perfect all the way through. Unlike the Roth albums, you throw in Fair Warning, you can throw in Women and Children First. I mean, obviously the first record, Van Halen too, maybe not Diver Down, but you can throw in those records and just all the way through. 5150 is close. OU812, no. For Unlawful College and Carnal Knowledge, no. Balance comes close, but then you hit Big Fat Money in Amsterdam, and I'm checking out.
My favorite song off 5150 is actually the 5150. That song that
yeah.
And it's way down at the end of the album. I don't know if I never hear anybody playing that one. And anyway, I hear Love Comes Walking In and Dreams and stuff like that. Yeah, but that song to me, that's a great song. That's my favorite song on the album.
I mean, what's your opinion of the keys and Dreams?
Oh, brilliant. You hear the first measure of it and you know what it is. So iconic. Yeah.
I mean, just you go from, Van Halen, this guitar, driven band, obviously, and then you hear that, and it doesn't make you miss the guitar. It's like, oh, the fucking keyboard's rocking. So
yeah, Eddie Van Halen on both. You're hearing Eddie Van Halen on coming through, his musicianship coming through on all those keyboard parts. Yeah.
And then starting with the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour, Fitz was the guy backstage playing all those, keyboard parts for that tour.
Amazing.
And the Van Halen and the Balance tour. And I think he was their road manager, not for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, but for Balance. Tucker Williamson, who was, if you look, he's always on the back credits of those Night Ranger records, doing sound and teching and stuff like that, and eventually moved up. He was the Damn Yankees road manager for their tours, and then after that he went and was the road manager for Van Halen. So there's a lot of Night Ranger connections with that Sammy era with Van Halen. Alan Castleberry wants to know who wrote "Sing Me Away." Do you know that, Eric Levy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure I'm the right person to ask for like, the actual. Josh, I'm sure, could answer that question way more accurately than I could.
That is a Kelly Kagi / Jack Blades composition, and I think Kelly told the story about they were working in like some museum in San Francisco.
I've heard that story. Yeah. They got in trouble for sitting in the chair.
Yeah, so like, they're talking about, well, maybe it should go like this, and Jack sits down in this chair, and all of a sudden the alarms start going off. But maybe on this April Fool's coming up, we will put out the press release that Eric Levy is suing them for songwriting credits on "Sing Me Away." Janice Rabacha, something like that. Janice, next time we're together, you're going to have to tell me how to say your last name, because how I say it, I feel like I'm Klingon or something. Are your children playing instruments yet? And if they do, what do they play? And would you considering doing a solo album of jazz rock? Well, Janice, we've already talked about the upcoming album release of Alien Jackoff. Are your children playing instruments yet? And if so, what do they play?
They're really not. We're not doing any kind of like structured lessons. I don't know. I feel like I know, like I know they've got like some whatever of it that they've inherited, and they've got interest in music and art and artistic kind of stuff in general. They seem like creative kids, but really the one who comes in and plays keyboards with me the most is the 3-year-old, and he'll just hang out. He'll hang out and just like, yeah, I guess tries to do what I'll do. So he'll sit there like, yeah, practicing Terrapin Station a billion times, or he sees me doing that, so he'll come over to the keyboard. But we're not doing anything structured. Maybe part of it too, just because like, I know what a commitment it's been for me, and what it's not the easiest way to make a living, just because there's so many people who want to do it, and that's how markets work. I don't know if as they gravitate toward it or don't gravitate toward it. I guess I'll take it from there. But it's it's not like we're trying to raise virtuosos over here either. It's really just I hope the kids are happy in whatever professions they choose as they grow older, and hopefully they actually have professions and don't just mooch off me.
The correct answer would be, yeah, my oldest played for about 5 minutes. I walked in and she's beating the shit out of my keys, and I was like, what the fuck? And that was the extent of her musical career.
Only fingers on the keyboard. That's my only rule. Like, no, like, no marching your Barbie doll on the keys, or none of that. It's fingers only.
Pete Seaman, too easy, asked, hey Eric, my name is Pete Seaman. I'm sorry, Pete. I'm a juvenile. I am a drummer, and you know what? I know Pete. All right, I'll tell you. I'll tell you how I know Pete. Pete probably he'd be a guy to get on the podcast. I didn't know who he was until I remember he joined the page a while ago. But when I was young, I'd get all these shows at like the Newport Music Hall in Columbus, rock club. It's been there forever. And he was the head of security. So I was there enough to where we would kind of talk sometimes. He's the one that told me the Shaw Blades concert that was coming up in '95 had been canceled. But he asked, hey, Eric, my name's Pete. I am a drummer and keyboard player, and I live in Columbus, Ohio. I work for Promo West Productions, which Promo West, if anybody's from Ohio, they did everything around here. Been in the music industry for 49 years, working on 9,000 shows. Worked with Night Ranger many times. He remembers long ago, Night Ranger played Legend Valley, about 30 miles from Columbus, not too far from me. Huge outdoor venue that had about 65,000 people. Night Rangers on a huge bill, probably in the mid to late 80s. Pete, it's probably you're looking at 84. I don't think they played there after that. They may have played there a couple times in 84. One time I know for a fact they played with 38 Special. Maybe the other time ZZ Top, but I'll let other people figure that out. There were 5 bands on the bill. I was backstage working. I remember walking Kelly Kagi to the stage, had a great conversation with him. He also worked with Jack from the Shaw Blades record. I just wanted to reach out and say hello. Really no questions here, but I saw the band about a year ago and they sound better than ever. Love the energy.
Oh man, right on. Thank you.
Love the energy they bring every night. Being 68 years old and seeing all the 70s and 80s bands still out there touring is fantastic. I'm still at it, and I hope to work another show with the band. Sure, would be great to say hello to you and the boys. I hope all of you have a fantastic 2023. So there you go.
Thank you. Happy 2023 to you too.
But yeah, that guy, like I said, he and he even did, I remember seeing him, we used to have Polaris Amphitheater in Columbus, which is kind of like Blossom, your big outdoor sheds.
Oh yeah.
And he, I know, was doing security and stuff there. I remember seeing Ted Nugent there in '96, and he did the Flaming Arrow, and I just remember him being pissed, probably because you got the whole Great White thing. This was before that. If he would have missed, there was a huge ass curtain, and you got 2,000 people packed in there like sardines. So I just remember him not being happy. But Pete, reach out to me, man. I'd like to hear some more of your stories. Dan Mark, yes, I thought Market, but it might be Markert. He wants to know what I was telling you, man. He wants to know if you ever played the keytar.
I did once play a keytar.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago, and probably like the dumbest possible context. It was with my jazz. It was with the jazz ensemble at my university, at Northern Illinois University. I'd written, I wrote an arrangement to the Chicago Bears fight song. It's like
well, that makes me want to go play 60 minutes of football.
Down, Chicago Bears. I don't know. It's the Midwest. They have a fight song. and so I wrote a arrangement for it in the band where I featured myself in the arrangement. And we played it at Grant Park in the city. And for that one, I didn't use the guitar. But for whatever reason, when we did it like our performance at the school, I thought it would be cool to like stand there with a guitar. But even then, like I still didn't really feel comfortable with it. So I was like, I had like my arm over like my knee and my foot on the monitor. I'm not a guitar player. Some guys are. I just
well,
I mean, my biggest issue with the guitar is really that whole thing I was talking about earlier with the direction that Night Rangers pushed me in of 10 finger, playing with all 10 fingers. It's like guitar, it's like you give up your left hand entirely. All your left hand can do is like the pitch bend mod wheel. Like you have no ability to play anything with your left hand. So it's a lot to give up for something that, it just looks like you're playing like a guitar player.
Well, that, and you look, fucking weird. But in some parts of the country, a guitar is also called panty dropper. So
first I'm hearing of that.
Yeah, you get that guitar, the broads will be pushing away that Fender Stratocaster of Brad's and that Les Paul of Carrie's and be like, get your ass over here, Levy.
I just thought of a story that I probably shouldn't tell. Remind me, I'll tell you later.
Those are the best stories. And will we see 4 Night Ranger bandmates side by side on stage with one playing a guitar during Sing Me Away? An epic photo opportunity. Not done.
This is like multiple guitar comments.
Oh, like it's still Dan. He's still on the guitar. So yeah, I mean, you do get the 4-person photo opportunity in the Secret of My Success video, because Fitz is right. He gives Sammy Hagar a run for the Red Rocker. So if I remember correctly, I think he's wearing like a red hat, maybe a red jogging pants and sweatshirt, and the guitar's red.
Right.
Yeah. James Reed, before playing with Night Ranger, what other bands were you with, and who were your influence? Which we've touched on. Obviously, the other bands, you had, Burnt Breadsticks and Garage Mahal and American Drag's kind of one we haven't mentioned, but American Drag. Were you on a studio record?
Yeah. So, and actually, there's a Garage Mahal connection there too, because Alan Hertz, the drummer, was before Garage Mahal, he had done some other pop group project with Willa Vankovich and the same bass player with American Drag too, Joe Shaughnessy, who's now a very successful lawyer. So he's had a completely, after the band thing didn't work out, he's like, I'm going back to law school, and I've had my fun with music. Now it's time to get serious. But yeah, so that I came in, they had already released their first album when I first started checking them out, and I was so drawn to their sound. I was like, really, you guys don't have keyboards? Because I love this band. I think you guys are killer. So, but for the second album, also we ended up getting Alan in the band. So the second album is what's it called? But it's called something that's escaping me right now. But it's both Alan and I are on that record, along with Willa Vankovich, now of Styx, who's a huge part of their productions too. Just having worked with him over the years, and now hearing like the new Styx albums, and he's having a lot to do with that process. It's coming through in the music.
I think you guys missed a golden opportunity with American Drag to like really work on your image, where not only, you know, do you guys play great music and your name's American Drag, but you dress in drag, you know?
I think that was a big issue with the name was, like I would tell people, oh yeah, I'm playing with this band American Drag. And the first thing oh, cool, you guys are drag queens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, you know, I mean, Brent would probably be into it. It's no fun when he's not here. So yeah, that was one band that we really, you know, kind of didn't talk about of your previous bands. Tom Chapin. Did you cultivate? Look at that fucking word. He fucking probably spent 15 minutes on that. Did you cultivate your look similar to Fitz when joining the band, or is that a coincidence?
Oh, so okay. How did my look change? I guess I was already wearing a hat all the time. And I already had a beard. but when we were recording the Somewhere in California album, like I swear every day I would show up and Jack would like point at my goatee, which I didn't have tied up yet, and he's like, you need to cut that off or do something with it. Every day he's like, what are you doing about that? and so finally I was watching this old show about the Roman gladiators, and I remember one of the characters had his beard tied. It was actually like two of these, but it kind of looked like this, and I was like, oh, maybe that would be cool. So I tried braiding it, and I was like, okay, this is like way too hard, and it's going to take way too long, and braiding's not for me. But then I discovered, just those little like twist tie things that you get at Target, and so it only takes me like a minute to do this, and makes me look cleaner, and so it's kind of ideal. And then so really the sunglasses are like the real. That's the real nod to Fitz is the sunglasses. That's the nod to his look. As far as something that I wasn't doing ever. I never played with sunglasses on before that.
The first Night Ranger you did at that casino, did you wear sunglasses?
Yeah, it was mandatory.
Because there is one group photo out there, professional group photo of you, and you're not wearing the sunglasses.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have to find it.
It might have been Japan, because it's frowned upon in Japan to wear sunglasses when taking a picture.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You just tell them, so it's starting a world war. Put your sunglasses on. It's
a dark joke.
Oh, well, man. It's just the truth. You're going to get on me about sunglasses, and you ever heard of the rape of Nanking? If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's go read a
tragedy in China in the 1940s.
And back to this is how crazy my mind works. You were talking about your friend in American Drag or something, O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah, Joe Shaughnessy.
Yeah, well, you're talking about being a lawyer and stuff. My first thought went to the lawyer movie Primal Fear, where one of the characters is O'Shaughnessy. So when you start talking about lawyers, I'm like, I don't know. But
he's a great bass player too. Yeah. It's really blast playing music with that dude.
TJ Rogers. No relation to Kenny. Not spelled the same either. What is your favorite thing about being a Night Ranger? Is it is it the babes and the narcotics?
My very favorite thing would really have to just be like that, like gigs just appear on my calendar. Like, I like, boom, oh, I just got a gig. Boom, oh, that's so cool. It's coming from back in the Garage Mahal days. I was the one who was coordinating with the booking agent and advancing it. I am so happy to just be like, such a great system in place, 40 years, and boom, I just get to show up. The the very kind Steve Koken setting up the keys for me, and yeah, it's I truly like never want to take it for granted. And yeah, like Sunday night playing my left hand monkey wrench gig, and lugging the keyboards out of the car at the end of the night back into my garage, and like stubbing my fingers. It's I never want to take for granted. And this won't be forever. This will be hopefully continue for indefinitely. It's amazing. I could go on and on and on about things I love.
I think it boils down to he's flying and not in a van, and he's not sharing a room at the Motel 6. So
I had plenty of nights of that.
Yeah.
The rough ones were like showing up at somebody's house because it's like, hey, we can save like the money on the hotel tonight. We just met this hippie dude who's he said he's got like couches, and we can go crash over there. And it's like you show up there and it's 2 a.m. only to find that it's like somebody's gonna get the couch and then the other person's on the floor, and okay, well, let's Rochambeau for it.
This fucker better have good weed. Craig C. Kirky. Craig, number one, you're a Niners fan, so I don't care. What is your favorite Night Ranger song, and what's your favorite artist? Thank you. Craig, you just commented too late. If you were up higher, we would have you would have been first. But did we talk? Well, we said what your favorite Night Ranger song playing live is, but you have just a Night Ranger song that is the Clem de la Clem.
Oh, interesting. Like one we don't play.
Just that. Have you ever heard Kong from the album 7?
No, I've under listened to 7. I like Panic and Jane is a killer song. Or is that Nevermind?
No, that's
that's 7.
That's Neverland.
Never. See,
but yes,
you're not gonna think I'm like the great, great fit for this band anymore. I can't even remember the names of the albums.
Probably no more than Jack does. But
Panic and Jane is cool. Maybe
like
another cool song that I'm not sure we'll ever play is Halfway to the Sun. It's just so epic.
Yeah. You would make a lot of the hardcore fans happy if you did that one, or Don't Start Thinking I'm Alone Tonight.
Oh, right.
Amy House wants to tell you that keep on being one of the best bands ever, and thank you for the years of rock and roll in my speakers.
Thanks, Amy.
Emily asks again, what's your favorite album from Night Ranger? I'll put an asterisk there. Besides Hole in the Sun, what is your favorite album from Night
Ranger? Oh yeah, just because of the way it makes me feel would be Somewhere in California. Just because it's like I hear that and it's instant, just like all the good memories of the excitement and starting out, and the beautiful spring that was, and I have such good sentimental feelings about that album.
And we talk about the fits and everything, the sunglasses, my hardcore nerdum of Night Ranger. One thing I remember is it's the back of, is it the back of Dawn Patrol where Fitz is kind of like standing like at the side, right? Like he's like standing profile, like with his arms straight down. God damn it, I got the record right here. No, well, this is how he's standing there. All right. So, but see how Fitz is almost like, in almost like a military position. But anyways, there's a single or something where like everybody else is like facing the camera and Fitz is just standing straight looking to the side. And in that Somewhere in California record or video, everybody's doing crazy stuff and you're there just looking like, sand in the surfboard. And it threw me back to, just Fitz being, kind of doing something different and everybody else is doing shit. And there's just Eric.
Yeah, that was like straight up direction from Jack. Yeah, that whole photo session and that whole video. He's like, this is the way you're going to be all the time. You're going to be pointing in random directions and looking in random places that have absolutely nothing to do with anything that we're up to. But the sanding the surfboard, that one was my idea, because Brad had just gone in there and done, I was like, oh, it might be fun if if I like, that was me being goofy, and somehow it made the final cut.
Debbie, we got a couple more left. Debbie Eaton Daniels. Question: what, if any, side projects are you working on? Which we've talked about. Debbie,
I would love to answer further by May.
Debbie, just hang on for a couple more months, my girl. Suggestion: would love to hear in advance when you play side projects, usually local to Northern California. This way fans can have an opportunity to see you perform in a different setting. So Eric, we got to make a bigger concentration on that. Comment: I appreciate how you take the time to post on your social media and how you like the comments and reply when a fan asks you specific questions about your post. Thank you. So that was
right on.
Debbie.
Thank you for watching, and yeah, thank you.
And Debbie will make a bigger effort to give you Eric's itinerary so you can chase him down. Michael Mazer, what was your favorite show that you ever played with Night Ranger? I know you mentioned that one in Chicago, right, where you kind of return home.
Yeah, and really, it's the 35 years and a night in Chicago one had such significance for me, because it was shot at the House of Blues in Chicago, and I had played there like countless times before I moved to California, but I had never played in a headlining band there. It was always like, some national act, and I would, be playing like with the opening band, or, whatever gig that would be that I would take. So like to be able to walk into House of Blues and have it be like, the other cool thing about it was that it had been like really hyped up on Chicago radio, and so that was a magical night. And the most brilliant thing, one of the most brilliant things Todd ever did to me was like a couple hours before the show started. He's like, I'm taking your phone from you now. You have 5 minutes. Text everybody that your tour manager's about to take your phone away. I was like, okay. And I just texted everybody, all my guests, family, everybody. I'm like, thanks for coming. The tour manager's taking my phone, park there, and I'll see you afterwards. And it was so freeing, because it was like, then I was able to be like, okay, yeah, but the point of tonight is, we are filming it. And this is, it really is about this concert, and, not about all my guests and where are they going to park. Yeah, in the end, man, what a experience that was. Another full circle kind of experience.
And the last question we have on here is from Devin Herod. For Eric, I just text him myself. Friends for years. That name ring a bell?
I've seen recognize the name from social media. So I assume he means messenger or something.
I don't know, Devin. You got some explaining to do.
Thank you for thank you.
Yeah, he's going to text you. What the fuck, man?
I'll be like, oh, that was you this whole time.
Yeah. So Lisa, You got a question for
Yeah.
well, hold on. First of all, the people that want to hear Lisa and Robyn Moore want to be pissed off on this episode. So Lisa, what's some questions you got for the man, the myth, the legend, Eric Levy?
There is a live version of Sentimental Street where there's like a long intro solo of yours. Is there any plans to maybe do that again at one of the shows, maybe, or any of the shows? I would love to hear that live.
Oh, thank you. It's funny you bring that up. I was actually just talking to one of the engineers from that acoustic show that we did. This guy Matt Cohen, a wonderful producer and engineer in the Bay Area. But yeah, we were talking about the circumstances, and I was reminiscing about back in those days when I would use a laptop on stage to generate my sounds. Before I had an absolutely disastrous show, and it was like never again, and no more laptop for anyway. That's that has nothing to do with your question whatsoever. But you can actually hear at the end of it, like this is how buggy that laptop was you could actually hear like this low note like hanging out, like ringing out at the end of that intro that I did. That was just like my computer locking up in that moment. So it's like the whole room's quiet. Oh, crap, that's what I was always worried about in those days was laptop freezes. But thank you very much. That was I would have to completely relearn how to play. I couldn't just sit down and play it. I'd have to relearn it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate hearing that. Thank you.
Yeah, it would be great to hear again live. I only hear it like when I hear it on like playing on streaming, and it'll play sometimes, but I would love to hear it live. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I remember the way I came up with, I can't even try and play it because I don't even remember. But the intro chords to Sentimental Street are like F over C, F over C, B flat over C, and then it finally kind of resolves to that C major. So I think what I did is I just kind of took it F is a fourth higher than C, and B flat is a fourth higher than F. So I think I took that concept and ran with it for the intro, and I was like, well, what if I kind of like move up to the next fourth, which is E flat? I think it was.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, that's where I got the inspiration for it is just playing around with those kind of harmonies that are at the beginning of Sentimental Street. And thank you. That's really wonderful to hear.
I think my biggest fear would be like if I had a laptop on stage was leaving like a browser window open, people out in the crowd like, is that midget porn I hear? But yeah,
our tech who was with us at the time, Glenn Kaufman, his whole thing was that every night he would take a different picture, and that would just be the screenshot that I would walk up to, and I would have a hot corner set so that like if you pushed it to the corner, all you would see was the screensaver until you hit that corner again. So yeah, I would walk up there every night, and every night it would be like some new image that it would be something different every night. Sometimes he'd get people around, and it was fun. He would have fun with it.
When I was in the military, if people left their desktop open, I would change their background to like, I would just type in like, hairy chest and, save like, 1983 Tom Selleck, as their backdrop. Robyn Ludidi, do you have a question for the man, the myth, legend, Eric Levy?
I know I've talked about it before, but like I still crave that Midnight Madness piano book. So any kind of nerdy kind of collectible music book shit, like I'm all about. Like I don't know, even the new songs, I don't know. It'd be cool to have an arrangement.
Right on.
Well, I mean, like, would you want to do anything like that? Put the work into doing that?
I'll confess that however long ago it was that I guess it was over the summer that I finally was like, okay, for some of my jams here, I'll record some solo piano versions of Night Ranger songs. But and I had people commenting, you know, like that's a great arrangement that you worked up, and I like didn't like correct anybody, but really that was just me like chugging a few beers and then just like, you know, playing it however it would turn out, and it would never. But that's, you know, I'm an improvisational kind of jazz musician, I guess, at heart. So it's, for me, that's where all the fun is at in music, is playing something that I don't really know exactly what's gonna come out. So as far as like putting the work in, those it's all songs that I know already. It would literally, I could just turn on the camera and chug a couple beers. And but I appreciate you saying and hearing that. That's great. Wow. Any songs off the new album that you think would sound good with solo piano?
Well, I think Free is the best song. That's the new
Oh yeah,
grouping of songs.
Rocker.
So
it would just be an instrumental, right? Monkey. Yeah, just so I don't have to hear the word monkey. I'm all for the instrumental there. You know, it'd be a good one, maybe like The Hardest Road.
Oh yeah,
you know,
that's a beautiful
yeah.
beautiful song.
But Lisa, you got any other questions before we wrap this up? Lisa, can you or can you not confirm the existence and the definite determination that a keytar is a panty dropper?
I don't know. I'd have to see it in person.
Fair enough.
She's like, yeah, a keytar or a 6-pack of Milwaukee's Best Light. Do it for me every time.
Milwaukee's Best Light.
Yeah.
It's come up multiple times in this podcast.
It kills me too, because I play keys and stuff too. I've just never played the keytar, and I always thought it'd be cool to go do 80s covers because I already look like Joan Jett, but just be rocking a keytar instead of a guitar. Seeing how
go
that
for
goes.
it, and then I'll your moves.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
It's kind of hard to believe Night Ranger had the keytar.
Dude, that's my favorite part of that whole video. Of course.
That video is amazing. Yeah, you guys know that the horn section is like Weird Al and the dudes from Motley Crue.
Yeah, Vince Neil,
that video is amazing.
Vince Neil, Tommy Lee, and Weird Al.
Weird Al.
And they had a name too. They called themselves, and I can't remember.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
But
oh, they named that horn section.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. I'll have to.
I'm sure it was Tommy's idea.
I'm sure there's a little yayo involved. Yeah, Eric, I think we're out of questions. I mean, I think really the biggest question that still lingers is when will we see the release of Alien Jack Off, and will you have signed
Josh submit the cover art for it too?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man,
that sounds terrifying.
You know,
have you guys of that?
Have you guys messed with the open AI stuff? Like I'm fascinated with the Chat GPT right now, because I'll again have a few beers and just start like asking it deep questions, and I find that somehow amusing. But they also make a free web app called Dolly. It's like DALL-E, and you can ask it to like make a picture of anything. So you could actually, as descriptive as you were with, talking about everything from like where the alien ship is going to be, and the dumpster and the sirens. Yeah, it's like you could enter all this into Dolly, and boom.
You can present it at the next podcast. Yeah.
And copyright free, right?
And listen, here's what we do, Eric, right? we start out with like just like the album cover, right? But then after we sell some of those, we say no, maybe we start out with a censored cover, right? And then after those sell, we come out with the uncensored, cover,
And then we have to refund everybody.
no, he's just like, hey, we we got the license, originally the label didn't want to show, alien dong, and here we go, we got it now. And people are like, fuck yeah. And now they're buying 2 copies, not just one.
Because they have to have the unmarked as well as the photogenic one.
And it will make it like a concept record where like, we explore the concept of, an alien coming here to Earth and,
literally
and getting jacked. Yeah, getting jacked off. Where the next record, which, I guess you could call it Alien Jack Off too, but it's a human on an alien planet, right? Getting jacked off. And so like we're the alien.
Is the human wearing a spacesuit?
I think the air is breathable, right?
Oh.
But maybe it's just a helmet and the rest of him's naked, and except for like the big astronaut boots, right? Just the boots and the helmet, right? And
what is the helmet connected to?
Who knows? But
you have a very creative mind,
artistic license, right?
Good
but like maybe like somewhere like you got dialogue in between tracks, where they're all connected, and like you hear the guy going, oh my, like you've got like 8 tentacle fingers. I don't think this is oh, I didn't say stop. And then you break into like track 8,
those could be like the segues between the tracks.
And where like
comfortable sexual moments with the alien.
Correct. And then like at the end, like at the beginning, it's all the mystery and stuff, and being scared of this new environment, and the human is the alien, and towards the end he doesn't feel like the alien anymore. He's been jacked off and he feels at home, and he doesn't want to leave, and maybe like the symbolic thing is the mask coming off. You hear the air pressurization, and he's no longer the alien, he's home. And then you break into the final track called Home. See,
this is an album that really you should make. I think the album Josh, you were born to make.
Yeah, I think he's into role playing or something.
He's just trying to make Fitz's Scrubs make sense here.
The broad I'm with. I'm like, no, put away the lingerie. Put this alien mask on. Just do it.
Get the probe.
Now, talk like this. Start jacking.
They always probe them too. So yeah.
Yeah. Well. Artistic license. We don't have to, write that part, in there.
Yeah, it can be
what Josh considers art.
Yeah. Well, if I am going to get alien probed, I hope it's not like one of those ET aliens with a long ass finger. Like, hey,
that lights up.
While you're in there, scratch the roof of my mouth.
I think you need to make this album, but I'll play keyboards on it if you want. But yeah, this is the album you're born to make.
Solo project. Aldo Nova it now.
So, but yeah, I mean, what's funny is I won't remember any of this 2 months from now, and
well, you can always go back and watch the podcast.
Yeah, YouTube is forever.
Someone will come up to me, alien jack off. I'm like, what the fuck's this fucking fucking weirdo? But that's the stuff all my friends got to put up with all the time.
Yeah, 5 minutes about alien
Yeah.
jack-offs, and then the person talking about it's a weirdo.
Well, it's like the biggest thing is, it's I don't know. It's like you're with a girl and she's doing it, and after a while it's like, all right, stop. You're like, it's like you're driving a 78 F-150 down there, just ragging through the transmission. I'll take over from here. But like, easy on the clutch, babe. Easy on the clutch. Christ. But yeah, but sometimes I use my left hand because it's like not me. It's like, oh.
This podcast is taking a real turn.
Yeah.
Josh's voice is cracking.
Sometimes I miss my ex and I start to jack off, and then I tell myself I got a headache. Like, fuck. Makes me miss her even more. So anyways, anybody got thoughts on that?
I have nothing to add.
I was lost after the whole alien thing.
Well, see, it's not truly an alien jack-off because he's the alien. Like, that's the deep conversations you'll have with people, Eric, after the show.
That's what I'll be asking ChatGPT.
It was all in Josh's mind.
Josh's ultimate fan world.
People will be doing podcasts, asking you like, so is the jack off a metaphor for world domination and pollution? Like, no, it's just about an alien fucking giving me a handy behind the dumpster.
Aliens have hands. I guess ET did.
It's actually kind of happened to me. I was with Burnt Toast, and except it wasn't an alien. It was some gray-haired guy. But inspiration. And that is why we don't
believe everything you hear on the internet.
And that is why we don't have brown liquor on the rider.
Right.
All right. Oh, Lord. All right.
See, it's one of these shows, like me and Jack and Brad and Kelly and Carrie, we should all just take seats and just give you the microphone and sit in the crowd and crack up.
I'll tell a joke.
Let you entertain us for once. Yeah.
I'll tell you guys a joke and be like, okay, guys, Jack told me to tell you it was okay to laugh. And then, okay.
You got Bruce Dickinson now doing that.
All the talking.
The stand-up stuff.
Is he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually saw it. It was really cool. And then at the end, he sang a cappella. It was like, wow.
Dude, Eric, you could be singing some a cappella.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, good stuff.
What else we got? Anything? I was telling someone in the organization, we did that episode a week or so ago, Eric, where me, Robyn, Lisa, and Andy, we picked 3 songs we wish Night Ranger would add to the set list. And I haven't done something like that in a long time, to where it used to be I would just say whatever I wanted, like, let's take this song. I don't like that song. Let's do this. And now it's like, I'm like saying something like, yeah, I don't like this song. Then I'm like, ooh, Jack's going to kick my ass if you ever listen to that.
When the guys say that, usually, after they record an album, a lot of that music will just never, listen to again. That rings true for me too, you know. And it's not that you don't like your own albums maybe so much as it's like you're so like in the midst of it for so many months where you're like having to, just like, every single little detail, oh, is that snare drum hit too loud? Or, it's every tiny little thing that like kind of once it's released, it's like, okay, now it's out in the world. And so I'm not sure that the guys would really necessarily take it all that personally. Jack might be like, I haven't heard that song in years anyway. How does it go?
He already has said that.
Has he?
Well, I was having coffee with Jack sometime, and I don't know, we were talking about stuff, and I brought up Interstate Love Affair, and I mentioned it, I guess, being on Seven Wishes, and he had no idea it was on Seven Wishes. He just thought it was that teacher's soundtrack. And there's other stories like that, but yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon. Most, like I always tell people when we would do like history of albums that the worst, people would be like, well, Brad said this or Jack said this. I'm like, one thing I've learned is they are the worst sources of facts. It's like
if you really want to know something, don't ask them.
It's like they were rock stars in the 80s. That's why they're so young, really, even mentally, because they may be 68, but they really only remember about 53 of those years. So and I've been there, like, I've gone to, Vegas for 4 days. I remember about 16 hours of it, not consecutive. So yeah, that was a fun time. It was like, Eric, you might get it when you have a good time where like you wake up the next day and like you don't remember what happened, but you got like, it's like a viewfinder. You just got like an image.
I have
like
to
The Hangover.
Well, that happened to me the last time that we were in Vegas, like a few weeks ago. That kind of, I have to confess, that kind of happened. I was drinking beers through the show and doing my normal thing, but then I've got a childhood friend who was at the show, and he's like, hey, let's go to this other place, and we start drinking whiskey over there. It was a whiskey bar, I guess. And like, yeah, the next day I woke up and I really didn't remember much. But then we were in like the van going to the airport, and at some point I was like, I'm just gonna hurl. And I'll feel so much better once I do. But then I started looking around. I'm like, there's like nowhere to puke. And what am I going to do? Just like, puke on the seat and then make all the guys like smell it the whole way to the airport? I can't do that. So I just like put my head like on the seat in front of me, and I'm like sweating it out. And somebody, at some point is like, Eric, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just have to puke, and I think I'll feel much better then. So, but meanwhile, then like within the next couple hours, like everybody had heard, oh, Eric got so wasted, he's puking on the way to the airport. And, so I heard about it then from like the crew and, everybody all night. And it was New Year's Eve. So then, that was Carrie, like, getting me to smuggle tequila into the, come on, let's drink. What's wrong with you? I'm like, dude, I'm recovering from last night. What can I say? I can't go there all crazy 2 nights in a row. But I talked to my childhood friend like in text the next day, and I'm like, I don't really remember anything. And he's like, yeah, you were in Vegas. That's how it's supposed to be. We had a good hang. I was like, okay. Terry was reminding me that of like, he's like, you remember like when we played Highway to Hell and to Sister Christian, and Kelly said on the microphone, so hell and Christians. I was like, did he? I don't remember. That was my last Vegas experience.
The thing that, at least, or Robyn, you mentioned a hangover. The thing that pissed me about the hangover was my buddy got married back in 2003 in Vegas, and flew out there. And this is back in my drinking prime. You think I could, kill you now drinking, Eric? Yeah.
Oh, I can't keep up with you.
No. Well, what I'm saying is
I can hold my liquor pretty good, but I can't keep up with you.
what I'm saying is 2003. That was a whole nother beast. That was a Fiore drinking back then. Now I'm like, fucking Ford Pinto. But so we go out the night before the wedding, and I was a big Jaeger drinker. Loved
Oh
Jaeger.
yeah, Burnt Toast was sponsored by Jägermeister. Actually,
dude,
we had a banner that we would put up every night. Burnt Toast and it was like a Jägermeister. And a lot of nights we would have the Jaeger girls would be at our show, and they would bring like an ice slide, and it's like people would put their mouths on the bottom, and they'd like pour the Jaeger down the slide.
Jägermeister will fuck you up. There ain't no denying that. I mean, I don't care what you drink. Jägermeister will fuck you up in a different way. Anyways, we're in Vegas, drinking a shit ton of alcohol. So is my buddy. Here's the thing: is I'm in the military at the time. I am going to college to be a school teacher, and my buddy's a lawyer, right? So we're respectable, upstanding citizens, and I just remember we're going different places with a group of friends, and my buddies get married, and drinking. It's just fucking having at it. And the next thing I know, just like that, I'm kind of like opening my eyes a little bit, and we're at like a half circle booth, and I got a pot of coffee in front of me, not a cup, but a pot. And I didn't really drink coffee much back then, let alone enough to have a pot. And I look over, and my buddy Andy is passed out, leaning back with his arms on a full glass of pink lemonade. And I'm kind of looking around, and this is back when there was smoking and non-smoking. So we're right at the front booth. So everybody's got to either go to the left or right of us, right? And I'm looking around like, and I look, I watch 7 a.m. What the fuck? And so I wake my buddy up. We find out we're in, his hotel. He goes up to his room. I take a cab all the way back to Stardust, and I go to my room. So that afternoon, we got to go to the wedding, and I find all my buddies were with. I'm pissed. I'm like, why the fuck did you leave us down in that restaurant like that? And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, you just fucking left us there. Like, dude, we lost you guys at midnight. And so for 7 hours to this, you usually, when you get hammered, you got a flashback. Like I said, the viewfinder, you doing this, that's all the memory you got, or doing something. Or there's like shit.
Got like truly like 7 unaccounted hours of like, no.
We have
nobody could tell you what happened, fill in the gaps.
So what pissed me off was in Hangover, I'm watching this. I'm like, remember they're on the roof, they take Jaeger. I'm like, dude, this fucking this happened. And what pissed me off was at the end they blamed it on roofies. I'm like, no, all this can happen.
Like Jaeger does that on its own.
You don't need fucking roofies. That dude, that movie lost me. And
it lost you at the very end.
It lost. And I don't know if there's if someone can answer this for me, that'd be great. The first time I saw that movie was like maybe on pay-per-view or something like that. And when they're on the roof and they're giving their toast, who's the guy that was in Stars Born?
Bradley Cooper.
Right, Bradley Cooper starts to give a toast, and in most versions you see the other guy,
Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah, he interrupts him, and he doesn't give his toast. Well, in this version, he gets to give his whole toast, and it's literally shit that I've said, like, hey, whatever happens tonight doesn't fucking leave here, blah 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 blah, and they fucking get the Jägermeister out. And I just remember we were at the buffet one of those nights drinking, and my buddy came up to me who's getting married, and he's like, my mom's worried about you. I'm like, why? She's like, it's like the dinner buffet, after the wedding. And she's like, like they came, to, what do you want, like to order, and all you did was order Jaeger. And she's worried about it. So I remember I went up and
reason to worry.
I went up and got bread or something like that. And another thing that's changed is the last day we were there, we were going to a show, and I was like, okay, tonight I'm taking it easy. It's only beer and 2 shots. Now I drank 2 beers and 2 shots. I'm fucking napping. But then that was me taking it easy. Okay, drink as much as I want beer wise, 2 shots of Jaeger. That's it. And
that's the responsible.
Yeah. So
as much beer as I want, that's cool, but the Jaeger.
Yeah, and it all depends too, man. If you're having a good time, you know you got rides, like the night me and you and Andy went out. You know, we knew we had a designated driver.
That was a fun time. Yeah.
You know? So we could get us, you know, you didn't have a show the next day. All you had to do is fly, and you know, you can. I mean, fuck, if pilots can fly hungover, you can too. So, all right, everybody's probably getting tired of my stupid ass stories. Robyn, say goodbye to everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Lisa Bovisa, say goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye, and thanks, Eric.
Eric Levy, say goodbye to your adoring fans.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Robyn. Really, having a fun time. I've been laughing like crazy over here. This has been a blast, really. So hope to see you all at a show soon. Yeah, should be a good year ahead of us.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next one.
And listen, if you want Eric to work on that solo album, and you know he's always going to be busy, so you may not be able to go up to talk to him. Just do this, right? And
he'll know.
If anybody wants to talk to Josh about his solo album,
he'll know
sign language.
He'll know that is one of my fans who want my solo record. So there you go. So there you go. Hope everyone enjoyed listening to Eric answer all your questions and getting a little bit of a peek inside my mind. So there you go. We will talk to you all later. Bye.
Why, oh, why? There's a voice deep inside that carries you through and always renews it. And somehow, you know I'll be there. Is there anyone listening to